In previous lectures, we covered why you'd want to use keyloggers and how they can be really useful to capture passwords, chat messages, or anything that the target person types on their keyboard. What I want to show you today is how to generate and use a remote keylogger for Linux systems, because the keyloggers that we've seen before don't work on Linux. Now, the keylogger that we're going to be using today is called Keylogger. And it's actually programmed by myself because as I was looking for keyloggers, I couldn't find something that'll fulfill what I'm looking for. I couldn't find something that works for normal users, not for admins, or something that starts at the startup of the computer. And also I wanted something that will send the reports by email and not store them locally. So I searched around, I couldn't find a keylogger that does all of these three things, so I decided to make my own. I made this within a day, so there might be some bugs and I'll be fixing them in the future. So things might look a bit different when you're using it, but the general usage of the tool is the same. Now you can see I've actually literally just updated a few things a minute and an hour ago. Now, to download the keylogger, all you have to do, like we usually download stuff from GitHub, is get the clone URL in here. Then go to our terminal and navigate to OPT, where we usually download our programs. And then do git clone and put the clone URL. Now this process is exactly the same no matter what program you're downloading from GitHub. And once we have the program downloaded, we can navigate to its directory by doing cd Keylogger. Then I'm going to do ls to list the available files. And we can see that we have a file called install.sh, which can be used to install the keylogger. So I'm going to run this file and I'm going to do bash install.sh. And what this is going to do, it's actually just going to install the needed packages and programs. Now it's done with installing for me. When you're using it again, it might be installing more things if I did update the keylogger from now until you use it, but the installer will do everything for you. Once the installer is done, I'm gonna clear this, and I'm gonna run the program using the main file for the program, which is called Keylogger. So I'm gonna do python Keylogger. Now the program is very simple. The first thing that it's going to ask you is the email that you want to use to receive the reports on. So I'm going to use the same email that I've been always using, which is johnwig70@gmail.com. Then it's going to ask you for the password, and my password is abc123, abc123. And don't worry, it's not going to share this password with me or with any third party. Then it's going to ask you for the time that the keylogger should wait between reports. So I'm going to put 60. So the keylogger will send me a report of the logged keystrikes every 60 seconds. So that every minute. This is actually a very short period and you should actually use a longer period. But I'm using 60 because I want to get the logs quickly so that we can analyze them. And finally, it's going to ask me for the name that I want to use for the standalone keylogger that I'm going to send to the target person. And we're just going to call it Keylogger. Hit enter. And that's generating the standalone keylogger for me, so I can actually send that to the target person. Now once it's done, it's telling us that the executable or the standalone is stored in dist keylogger, and that we need to allow less secure applications to use our Gmail account. Now we had to do this as well with Keylogger, and I showed you how to do that in that lecture. So if you don't know how to do it, you can do it using this URL, and that's covered in the Keylogger lecture for Windows when I used Keylogger. Now I'm ready, and I can just send this file to my target. Now in the next lecture, we'll see how we can send this file, execute it, and analyze the results.